Before I start, let me ask you some basic questions regarding your background. So, Nakul, how old are you?
I'm 28.
Okay. And when did you complete your LLM?
Um, Actually, I am in my last semester, second semester, so it's still
Okay.
the result is still awaited.
Okay. And from which college are you pursuing your LLM?
I'm Uttarakhand Technical University, Dehradun. So
Okay.
Arihant Law College in Roorkee.
Okay. And your LLB, from where did you cover your complete
Uh,
your LLB?
Ma'am, I did it from Chaudhry Charan Singh University, Meerut.
Okay, Chaudhary Charan Singh. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
And are you also preparing for judiciary exam?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay, okay, okay. So Nakul, now let me just ask you your preparation strategy. So
Yes,
what was
ma'am.
your study routine? Like for how many hours you used to study?
Ma'am, firstly, I would like to say to those candidates who have felt disheartened that they
Hmm.
shouldn't, because if I can do it in 2 months, they can do it too. Because it was my, let me first give a brief background how I came to this net journey, how I started this
Okay.
net journey,
Yes,
ma'am.
yes.
So I was diligently preparing for my Rajasthan exam, and
Okay.
there was clash of net and Rajasthan. They were just 1 week, one after each other, the June one. So I
Okay.
was dedicatedly preparing for Rajasthan, and on one friend's advice, I had also filled form for net. Though I was not quite serious about it, in the sense that I was not actively preparing for it. I thought maybe let's test the waters and then give December attempt with a quite more serious attitude.
Right.
But when I failed Rajasthan just by a whisker, I completely turned myself to net because God gave me a second chance in form of re-exam. Though I was getting 192 something through the tentative cutoff that I had,
In the June
myself.
exam.
Yeah, I had examined myself. So I was thinking if I can get 192 without actively studying for it, so I can maybe cross a barrier of 200 if I actively prepare for it. And thanks to Master Cave, thanks to you, ma'am, that I could really achieve it in 2 months short time. And because I had only 2 months with me, I had to be a bit more flexible in my timings, though
Okay.
I would at least 8 hours should be given if you are thinking of achieving net in 2 months or 1.5 months, that time frame. eight
Hmm.
hours is minimum.
It's
But
8 hours. Eight
yes, ma'am.
hours every day.
Yeah, every day, even Sunday is a working day for you, because you have to achieve a lot in
Right.
just 2 months, and the competition is getting high each passing day. So
Right.
you have to oversmart your competition. So
Hmm.
yeah.
So, Nakul, how did you manage your LLM with net preparation? Because I'm assuming that you were attending the LLM classes
Right,
also.
right.
So, how did you manage it?
Ma'am, by the time the announcement of re-exam had come, I had already finished my exams, I had already taken my exams, and I had already submitted my dissertation. So that
Okay.
worked in my favor in that sense. Otherwise, I would not have been able to manage
So,
that.
are you still pursuing it? You are in the second year, na, in the final semester.
Ma'am, I had already taken the exams of my last semester. I'm awaiting my final result now.
Okay, okay, okay.
Yeah.
So, basically, after submission of dissertation,
Right, right,
and then
right,
August exam happened.
right,
Okay,
right,
correct,
right, right.
correct. Very right. Okay. So, Nakul, how did you used to study? Like in the morning hours, in the evening hours? Like, how did you manage it?
Ma'am, whenever I would get time, because
Okay.
yeah, because you have to study, and I would rather advise people to have short targets with you, right?
Hmm.
If and let me first tell you, there are no permanent weak areas and strong areas. If you do not
Hmm.
work hard in your stronger areas, you will
Hmm.
make them weak eventually. And if you really work hard in your weak areas, they will become your strong areas. Because my experience says that. So I missed two questions in of constitution, though constitution is one of my strong areas, because because during the exam time you have that pressure, you don't really have good surroundings. So
Hmm.
where my center was, it was really a squalid room with no fan, or barely a
Hmm.
fan in that room. So I had to attempt the exam in that kind of scenario. So that really has an impact on our efficiency. So I missed out on my strong areas, but my weak area supported me in that time.
Correct.
So yeah, yeah.
Yes, 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 yes. Right, Nakul. So, Nakul, did you prioritize any particular units over any like weak or easy units? As you were saying that weak
Right,
and
right,
worked on
right.
weak units. So, did you prioritize any units?
Yes, I did. I did in paper one and paper two both, because
Both. Okay.
paper one, ma'am, I didn't have any idea about logical fallacies and those logical equivalents. And so
Hmm.
it's your classes that helped me crack those kind of exams. Even Indian logic question that had come
Hmm.
directly from your notes.
It
So
was
I was
nice.
very happy when I saw that question. Unproved middle है अरे यार ये तो मैम ने पढ़ाया था मैम के notes में direct question बना. I was so happy. I was really thanking you in the exam room कि यार मैम नहीं होती तो मैं नहीं निकाल पाता, because it's just a game of 2 or 4 marks.
Right,
Right.
totally.
So and in paper two, I had public international law as my weak
Hmm.
areas, because I had not prepared really for that, because judiciary में वो आता नहीं है. So
Hmm.
I didn't really have any direct exposure to it. Jurisprudence मैंने पढ़ा था because UP की तैयारी कर रहा हूँ, and I had also applied for a few LLM entrances. So jurisprudence was my every मतलब ये था कि if I give it a bit more, I will be able to cover more questions.
Right, it
But
was
I
moderate.
had a fair idea कि किसने क्या बोला है, किस समय में
हाँ.
बोला है, क्या timelines है, कौन से school से कौन है. I
Right.
had a fair idea about that.
Okay.
But-
And even environment and human rights also. This is also
Right,
one of the units
right,
that is
right,
covered
right,
in
right. These
GE.
areas, if you do not really work hard, if you don't have good content, you may not be able to prepare those
Correct,
improvements.
correct. So one is this public international law, environment, human rights, even
Yes, yes.
IPR also, intellectual property rights.
Yes, yes, yes. Again,
All
another
these
area
areas.
which you have to have good notes.
Right. So as you were saying that you were not attending live classes, you were relying on the
Right,
recorded ones.
right,
So
right.
recorded sessions, में were you used to skip any part, like yeah, or do you used to watch each and every second of the video?
Ma'am, in constitutional classes, I have skipped बहुत सारे parts because I think I already know those things because of my
Correct.
judiciary preparation. But IPR classes, environmental law classes, and comparative law classes, I didn't miss a part. I would watch them at 2x because I like to watch them a bit faster. That's my pace. I mean, everyone has their own pace of
Right.
watching things.
True.
So I used to do that, and I would constantly write things on my iPad. Because there are certain points that you need to know. It's not a theoretical exam. It is an objective exam. So आपको ना recall होना चाहिए कि if that question is coming, you should be able to recall that particular thing at that time. So I would
Right.
write those bullet points, and then some tricks that you made us by which you made us remember things, especially jurisprudence में जो names होते हैं, scholars होते हैं. That worked in case of Justice Holmes का जो question आया था. तो that worked. तो वो मैं बता रहा हूँ ना, मेरे को déjà vus हो रहे थे कि मैम ये करवा रही थी और फिर ये यार ये same चीज आ गई. I was like wow. That happened with me in the exam hall.
Right, Nakul. So Nakul, जैसे you were saying you were making bullet points. तो
Right.
bullet points में were you used to write the complete statement, for example, if it is the jurisprudence is the eyes of the laws given by Lusky.
Right, right.
Do you used to write that complete thing or only just keywords, for example?
Keywords. Because आप अपने आप recall कर पाओ, it's your choice again. If you
Yes,
are not
this is-
comfortable remembering using keywords, write the full sentence. Doesn't
Right.
matter.
And this is the approach how you make this bullet
Yes,
note.
ma'am, yes,
So you can't just keep writing each and everything.
No, वो तो possible नहीं है.
Short
Time भी नहीं है
things.
आपके पास, and it's
हाँ.
just waste of your labor also.
Right, and even in the revision also, you need those short and
Yes,
crisp
yes,
notes. You
yes,
cannot
yes, yes.
revise each and everything.
Yes,
Right.
yes, ma'am. Yes,
Right.
ma'am.
So Nakul, how did you started your revision? How did you start your revision in last 15 days, in last 30 days? When did you start your revision?
Ma'am, I think it was 10 to 15 days before the exam when
Okay.
it really hit me that I should now revise and not
Huh.
just keep on collecting
Learning
facts
more
and
things,
yeah. So I would be doing rapid fire revisions. Like मैंने targets बनाए कि मेरे को जैसे 10 subjects से law के पहले मैंने law की करी, उसके बाद मैंने first paper ही करी, फिर से मैंने law की करी. So I would rather मैं ऐसा नहीं था कि मैं आज सिर्फ एक सब्जेक्ट पढ़ूंगा. जो मैं पढ़ सकता हूँ, फॉर एग्जाम्पल एक सब्जेक्ट का मैंने कुछ पढ़ा, फिर जो दूसरे सब्जेक्ट का मेरा वीक एरिया है फिर मैंने उसको वो पढ़ा. बिकॉज फॉर एग्जाम्पल आपने बेयर एक्ट दिए हुए थे ऐप में हाईलाइटेड, वो दे रियली हेल्प मी बिकॉज आई न्यू कि बेयर एक्ट में क्या क्या पढ़ना है. जस्ट स्क्रॉल थ्रू वंस, उसको देख लिया, फिर थोड़ी देर में आगे फिर से देख लिया, तो वो देन दे स्टार्ट सेटलिंग डाउन इन योर माइंड.
Yes.
Because when you're seeing it again and again, for example, I remember that question on NGT. उसमें section 20 का पता नहीं किसका आया था कि उसमें कौन कौन से principles given है, right? So हाँ, so उसके फिर ना जैसे PP लिख लिया मैंने, PP, PPP. So वो ऐसे करके भी अगर आप लिख लोगे तो वो माइंड में बैठ जाता है. Because अगर पूरा पढ़ोगे तो फिर वो नहीं समझ में आएगा आपको. Collateral पेज था, क्या था, PP, PPP, SD जो भी है मतलब, और कुछ जो नहीं है और वो important principle है उसी jurisprudence से, environmental jurisprudence से related, वो लिख लो कि cross it is not given. मतलब ऐसे
Right, very right approach, Nakul.
Yeah.
So this is actually the right approach. Acha, and there is one more thing that most of the aspirants want to know. So yesterday somebody was asking that do they have to cram the whole Bear Act or only the important sections from the minor acts?
Ma'am, now the pattern is becoming very unpredictable. So I would say be friends with your Bear Act. Even if you do not cram the whole thing, know what is given where, and you should be able to make a smart guess. Sometimes it happens that you may not know the real answer, but if you know कि अच्छा इसकी lengths and breadths ये हैं, तो इसके आगे नहीं जा सकती ये चीज, so you can make a smart guess. That happens.
Correct.
Yeah.
Basically, you get an idea.
Right, you should have an idea. Like you should know what kind of person that. I mean, when we meet a person, we know that ये बंदा ऐसा है. So if we attribute a particular thing to a person, we are able to judge. नहीं यार वो ऐसा नहीं बोल सकता. So same with the Bear Act. नहीं यार वो Bear Act ऐसे नहीं बोल सकती. For example, if it is a Bear Act on IPR, it will not say something promoting maybe piracy, something like that. So that can be done. Yeah.
Correct, Nakul. Also, let me just give you one more example. This UN Charter. In
Yes.
UN Charter, we have this chapter, 6 chapters. Not more chapters are there, but we have the 6 principal organs.
Right.
So if they are asking you any question about General Assembly, you know that it is somewhere between 9 to 21.
Yes, ma'am.
22. So you have an idea about those articles.
Right,
Which means you don't have to cover the whole article.
Right.
Each and every article, just cover the basic ones so that
Basic
you can get an idea in the exam.
Right,
Very right.
right.
Right. Okay, so how many MCQs you used to solve in the exam before for each subject before the exam?
Ma'am, I didn't have any fixed pattern because I
Okay.
had very short period of time with me, and I
Hmm.
was just like, I should be able to cover things because मैंने already judiciary के time पे इतने MCQs solve करे हुए हैं, so I didn't have any problem solving the MCQs once I know कि उसकी मतलब क्या उसके answers जा सकते हैं. So
Hmm.
to be honest, I'll be honest to you, I didn't solve many MCQs before the exam. Neither did I purchase any book
Okay.
because your notes were quite sufficient for me in terms of the content. The content
Hmm.
is very well curated.
Hmm.
I have suggested this content and your course to 5 to 6 of my friends
Hmm.
because they didn't know about this course. Even I didn't know, ma'am. I mean, I have a complaint to make to you that you do not market your course really well because there are other competitors who are not so good as your course is, but they market it so well that people are able to attract themselves to that. But मेरे को एक acquaintance ने बताया that you join these classes, and on his reference I came to your classes and I was like, wow, this is what I was searching for. Because 2 months में अगर आपको कोर्स निकालना है, you should have really good content with you. अगर
Right.
आप ढूंढते ही रहोगे हर जगह से तो
Hmm.
आप नहीं कर पाओगे वो चीज़. You have very short periods of time and the exam is becoming more dynamic. बहुत
Hmm.
लोग बोलते हैं कि ये बहुत स्टेप वो है मतलब कन्वेंशनल एग्जाम है बट आई थिंक इट इज बिकमिंग डायनामिक. आई विल गिव जस्ट वन एग्जांपल एंड देन आई विल कंप्लीट माय सेंटेंस. फॉर एग्जांपल इन द फर्स्ट पेपर जो ऑफलाइन मोड में हुआ था देयर वाज वन क्वेश्चन ऑन to which of the following instances principle of natural justice will apply.
Hmm.
So if you follow live law, if you follow some other app which gives recent news updates,
Hmm.
our honorable chief justice has been making mention of one particular judgment that he really likes delivered
Hmm.
by him, which
Hmm.
is Madhyamam Broadcasting Limited, Media One, in which he
Hmm.
had enunciated principles of natural justice in case of refusal of license. So
Yes,
if
right.
you so उसमें ना directly कुछ नहीं लिखा हुआ है. बहुत सारे बच्चे बोल रहे हैं वो गलत question है. But because I was abreast with what is happening in the law world, legal world, I was able to answer that question in just 1 minute or
One
even
minute,
less than
right.
that. So you
Actually.
should be that dynamic also, right? You should not just consume content, know where that content could be asked.
Hmm.
And वो time के साथ आएगा मतलब if you are
Hmm.
doing preparation for some time, you will be able to know that.
And also one more thing, as you were saying that you did not solve many MCQs.
Right,
But
right.
Nakul, do you feel that solving MCQs are important? Because I can say that since you
Yes,
were preparing for judiciary exam, so that is why you have solved
yes,
MCQs
yes.
earlier. But many aspirants, they are just reading the content, they're just learning the content, cramming it, but
Yeah.
they're not solving the MCQs. And what problem do they face in the exam? They just see all the options similar and then they get confused. So
Right,
don't
right.
you think that solving MCQs are very important? So what
Yes, yes, they surely are. Because I had a certain base already.
in the
That's why I
judiciary?
didn't do
Yes,
it. But
yes,
someone who's freshly preparing for this exam must take this exam, मतलब
must
must
be
take MCQs very
solved.
seriously
Yes,
because
yes.
I had already experienced that kind of things. MCQs में
Hmm.
क्या confusion होती है नहीं होती. That's why I skipped that part because I didn't have luxury of time here.
Correct.
But because now there is 3 to 4 months to go for the exam, I
Hmm.
don't know when the next exam will be.
Hmm.
MCQs must be solved on priority because if you are preparing everything, related to the syllabus, but you don't know how to eliminate options,
Hmm.
exam gets very difficult for you.
Right. Totally.
Yeah,
I agree.
yeah.
Yes. And also, as you were saying that you just refer to my notes and you did not buy any books to
No,
solve
I
this
didn't.
MCQs.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
But what about mock test? Did you solve any full-length mock test or weekly mocks that are
Weekly,
given?
yeah, I used to solve weekly tests initially, but once
Okay.
my preparation started picking pace,
Hmm.
I would intermittently solve,
Hmm.
but not all weekly tests I would solve. I would rather focus on watching your lecture again at 2x because
Okay.
what happens is when you watch the same thing again, it
Hmm.
settles down in your mind much better, and you are able to find out things which you were not able to find out earlier in the same lecture. So I would rather watch your lectures again and again. I remember watching your IPR lectures like 2 or 3 times बिकॉज उससे ना दिमाग में सेटल हो जाती है. फॉर एग्जाम्पल आई रिमेंबर 51 में इन्फ्रिंजमेंट है तो 1 से फिर इन्फ्रिंजमेंट याद हो
51
गया.
yes,
तो वो
yes.
वरना फिर आपको वो सेकंड टाइम में थर्ड टाइम में आप अपने आप ही रिलेट करने लग जाओगे. अच्छा 51 में 1 में इन्फ्रिंजमेंट हो गया, इसमें ये हो गया.
Hmm.
एंड देन फॉर एग्जाम्पल माइनर बेयर एक्ट है तो उसमें फिर मैंने टेबल बना ली थी कि
Hmm.
जैसे नेशनल मिनोरिटी कमीशन है तो उसमें कितने मेंबर्स होते हैं, क्या 8 होते हैं, उसमें से कितने नॉन माइनॉरिटी होंगे, कौन कितने
हाँ, हाँ,
एससी होंगे,
yes,
कितने
yes,
एसटी.
right.
तो इफ यू हैव अ कंपैरेटिव टेबल यू आर एबल टू अप्रिशिएट द थिंग्स मच बेटर.
Much better.
Right.
Hmm.
So वो
Right.
comparative table बना ली थी. You had certain tables, comparative tables given in the notes also. So
Hmm.
those were also helpful. So yeah, I mean, it worked for me.
Right, right. Okay, and how did you manage your time in the exam? Like in those 180 minutes, how did you manage it? Did you cover paper two first? Did you complete paper two first and then move on to paper one, or first you completed paper one and then moved on to this paper two?
Ma'am, according to me, and it can vary from person to person because of their
Okay.
personal preferences. I started from paper one itself because paper one is general, and one because if you are a specialist of a particular subject, you need a certain ignition to solve such kind of questions because you need to settle down in the environment. You should be able to focus on the questions more. So I started with paper one, and DI and quant questions I left for the last 10 to 15 or half an hour. Then I went to the law part. Then I again came back and I solved वो coefficient of variation वाला जो question था और फिर hexadecimal to decimal वो conversions जो थे वो वाले questions I solved. And after solving all those questions, after making one revision, quick revision, मतलब law का तो आप बार बार revision नहीं कर सकते, but मेरे साथ ये होता है कि मैं अगर second revision करता हूँ, I tend to tick the
Mark
wrong
incorrect.
option.
हाँ,
हाँ, वो
right,
जो
right.
मेरा जो first sense होता है ना, उसमें मैं सही कर देता हूँ.
Everyone,
अब मैं
हाँ,
हाँ, तो
everyone
मैं
same.
change मैं इसलिए ना फिर I don't touch
हाँ,
the
second
law
time.
subject or some other subject
हाँ.
again. मैंने कर दिया सोच के कर देता हूँ, then I don't go back to that. Then I started solving DI and quant questions, and if some questions which I'm not able to do right now, but maybe in a later revision I will be able to recall those answers. So,
Correct, correct.
yeah.
And also, did you solve PYQs for paper one or?
Yes, I did. I didn't actually solve them. I watched a few videos on YouTube. So just to get an idea of what kind of questions could be asked, and also our exam was on 30th. Right, exams had started from 21st itself. So just to keep pace with what kind of questions they are asking, you need to see what kind of questions they are asking. For example, I remember certain areas which I covered just because of those kind of those iterations that I made on YouTube. कि क्या आ रहा है because एक question था hot media cool media पे. So I was expecting a question on that because it's a very dynamic topic. वो आया भी 30th को first shift में आया हमारे shift में no sorry I think second shift में आया हमारा I don't remember कौन सा shift में था शायद first shift में हमारा था I'm not wrong. तो वो दूसरी शिफ्ट में वो आया क्वेश्चन सेम डे. तो एंड अगेन देयर वाज क्वेश्चन ऑन सेल्फ प्लेजरिज्म यूजीसी की गाइडलाइंस हैं उसमें.
Plagiarism always they ask.
हाँ
Yes,
हाँ
yes.
तो हमारे में प्लेजरिज्म एंड फिर मैंने ये करा बट एक मिस्टेक मैंने कर दी कि जो वो सोहम प्रभा के चैनल्स हैं मैं 10 तक मैंने याद करी 11 12 13 देखे ही नहीं वरना एक और क्वेश्चन मेरा हो जाता. सो दोस काइंड ऑफ यू हैव दोस गिल्टी things you didn't work on those things but you should मतलब कुछ आ रहा है
Actually,
क्वेश्चन.
this is very vast. मतलब you cannot
Right accept
learning
it
each and everything, so it is fine, totally fine.
accept it.
Right, right. All right, Nakul. Thank you very much, Nakul, for sparing out your time, and I
Thank you so much.
congratulate you again. And Nakul, what are your future plans? Are you planning to pursue PhD just immediately after LLM completion of LLM, or are you going to wait for the judiciary exams?
Ma'am, I hope to become a judge someday. Let's see. That has been always my plan. But ये है कि अभी हो गया so ठीक है. If nothing works out, I'll have a second plan.
Right, right, right. All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you
Nakul.
so much. Thank you so much, ma'am.
All right. Thank you, Nakul. Okay.
Okay.